Good afternoon, everyone. This week, we have been tasked with discussing one of the 8 core values of nursing as identified by the National League for Nursing, or the NLN. Specifically, we are to discuss the value of caring and how that value relates to the individual nurse, as well as how it relates to the nursing profession as a whole. Let us begin this discussion by identifying what the NLN is referring to when promoting the value of caring. The National League for Nursing identifies caring as promoting health, healing, and hope in response to the human condition. While this definition does sound nice, it does very little to elucidate the true meaning of this value or its relationship to the nursing profession. The Oxford English Dictionary gives 2 succinct definitions that allow for direct connection to the daily responsibilities of the nurse. Those definitions are displaying kindness and concern for others, or the work or practice of looking after those unable to care for themselves. Simply put, to care is to carry out the act of looking after the best interest of other individuals. With the definition of caring now put into more relatable terms, let us discuss the relationship between the nurse and the act of caring. For the nurse, to be caring is to go beyond general professional duties such as assessment and medication administration in order to promote a holistic healing for the patient. To care is to recognize the patient as a whole person and not just a series of boxes to be checked off throughout the shift. Caring culture emphasizes being attuned to the needs, desires, and experiences of others and working to the best of one's ability to make the experience of the person being cared for as good as it can be. This may be as simple as being available for a chat about personal fears, or as grandiose as pushing back against provider decisions that may adversely affect the patient. An action as minuscule as ensuring that water containers are filled and coffee is brewed fresh at the end of a shift may seem inconsequential in the grand scheme of healthcare systems. However, these small acts can go a very long way for peers and patients alike in making their days just a little bit more bearable. Whatever decisions a nurse may make throughout their shift, each one should be made with the best interest of the patient experience in mind. Now that we've discussed the act of caring and how that can impact the personal experiences of both nurses and those in their charge, let's move on to the role caring plays in the profession as a whole. Caring can be seen as synonymous with the nursing code of ethics. One cannot claim to be a caring nurse without promoting autonomy, beneficence, justice, and non-maleficence throughout their daily practice. Likewise, if the nurse meets these ethical standards, then they, by association, will be performing their duties in a caring manner. These principles define what the nurse should strive to achieve each shift as well as throughout their career, and they cannot be achieved without practicing in a caring fashion. Whatever words one may use to define caring for themselves, it's an irrefutable fact that to be a good nurse is to be a caring nurse. Day in and day out, the nurse must fight the small battles and delight in the little victories that give their patients some amount of respite from the cold, heartless machine that is the American healthcare system. The nurse's job is simply to help, but to help is the greatest accomplishment one could ever hope to achieve. To quote the great American poet and philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, that is to have succeeded. So thanks everybody for listening, and I hope I've given some amount of insight into the value of caring. I look forward to hearing what others have to say. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.